Hey guys, so as some of you may know, I've worked in the restaurant industry for quite some time. It's what I know, it's what I enjoy, but it's not always a stroll in the park. There are a number of things that occur in restaurants that really irritate us as waiters. Yes, I'm currently a waitress, and some of you may know where I work at the moment, but I will leave that restaurant as unknown. And I will apologize in advance because I know I'm going to get a little irritated as I talk about these things. So, if you've ever worked in a restaurant, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you who have never worked in a restaurant, let me BID break it down. Number 1, children. Yes, most restaurants are family oriented, but for those of you who have kids, babies, small toddlers, or for those of you who like to go out with your friends who happen to have babies, what gives you the idea that it's okay to allow your creature to make a mess? Yes, as servers, we are being paid to wait on you, but we are not your maids, we are not your babysitters, we are not being paid to clean up after your kids. Please don't allow your kid to throw food on the ground, whether it's crackers or candy or any kind of food. And if it does happen, clean it up. It's only common courtesy. I would never allow my child to make a mess at someone else's house or in a public restaurant and expect someone else to clean it up. This also applies to the kids who throw up. I mean, enough said. I don't need to continue this one. Same goes for the parents who allow their kids to run around the restaurant. It's not a playground, and we will not be held accountable if your kid gets hurt or breaks something. That's your fault. Number 2, people on cell phones. I completely understand that sometimes we get phone calls at unexpected times. But if you're sitting there at your table on the phone and you see a waiter approach you, take a second to just put your call on hold and at least acknowledge us. Again, it's common courtesy. All we're trying to do is greet you and take a drink order. It takes a couple seconds. Just be nice, acknowledge us. If you don't, we will ignore you and we will not come back until you're off the phone. Trust me. Number 3, bad tippers. As some of you may or may not know, servers here in Texas only get paid $2.13 an hour, which means that we pretty much depend on tips. If you can't afford to leave a proper tip, then why go out to a restaurant where you're being waited on? I completely understand that not everyone can afford to go out and pay for a decent meal and tip. But if that's the case, like I said, don't go to a restaurant where you are being waited on. The only exception to leaving a bad tip is if the service was absolutely horrible, and I mean bad. And even then, there are certain circumstances. And FYI, for those of you who don't know, the proper way to tip these days is to leave 18% of the total bill. Number 4, split tabs. Now, I understand that a lot of times you go out and with a group of friends and some people have cash, some people have credit cards. If you know ahead of time that it's going to be a split tab, let us know ahead of time. Trust me, it makes our job a lot faster and a lot easier when we know ahead of time that it's a split tab. A lot of restaurants don't allow the splitting of tabs, but most do. And here's a quick tip. If you know you're going to go out with a group of friends, just bring cash. If everyone brings cash and you just combine your cash and pay one tab, trust me, it makes the whole process a lot faster and a lot easier for you and us. And number 5, last but certainly not least, make up your mind. All I ask is that you please ask us for whatever you may want or need while we're at the table. And by we, I mean the servers, the waiters, whatever you want to call us. If you need ice, ask us for ice. If you need a side of whatever, just ask us while we're at the table. I ask this because it's really irritating when we make several trips back and forth from the kitchen to the table because you can't make up your mind. Please, I mean, if you need something, just ask us ahead of time. So guys, those are just a few of the things that go on in restaurants that are really irritating for us servers. The list goes on and on, but I don't want this video to be days long. So yeah, if you work in a restaurant now or if you've ever worked in a restaurant, let me know. What restaurants have you worked in or what restaurants do you currently work in and what are your pet peeves? Leave your comments in the comment box below and we'll see you next week. Bye.